I got the step by step. I got that we have to do the GitHub command, how to get into the directory, and then ls lrt. I tried all that, right?
Okay.
But
Yes.
I'm still a little bit behind on the overall concept of this. Like we are doing this to create a synopsis account,
Correct. So
which
you
in turn
yeah, the
creates a
last one,
data lake
signups
storage.
workspace. Correct. So we have a signups workspace. This is the last item in your screen, right? Signups
Yes.
G3MH0CA. That is the workspace. And you have
So
one
what did the
dedicated tool
GitHub give us? The git command that we used. What did we
that
copy from that git command?
gave you the okay. Could you please run your command shell,
Yes,
PowerShell?
please.
Yeah. And go to uh, DP203 folder. So could you list all the folders? You should have a DP203 and then you change to that directory.
Right.
Yes, you can maximize the screen. Yeah, CD to CD space DP hyphens 203. I will show you the setup file what it is doing.
Why is it?
See,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. Just enter. Complete
Oh, oh,
the tab. I mean, you had to
oh,
yeah
why doesn't?
start typing DP.
Yeah, I wanted to finish. Like that's what we want, right? CP DP03 all files
Mhm.
lab 01, right?
Till
No.
lab 01. Yes, yes, yes.
How do I? So spacebar.
Yeah, space
Okay.
D. Yep,
Enter.
enter. Okay, now do a LSLRT. You would have 3 4 files. So we will be interested in setup.ps1, right? So can you type more more space setup.ps1. So this will open the file in read only. Yeah, enter. So this is what happened when you executed that /setup.ps1. So these are the Linux commands. You are getting anything you see with a dollar is a variable. For
Mm-hmm.
example, at the last section you have a subs dollar subs under handle cases where the Azure has multiple subscriptions, right? So these are the commands to get your account information. So subs is a variable. Do you see that dollar subs? Uh, Please confirm when you see dollar subs.
Dollar
It's the
SUBS, yes.
sixth line is equal to get hyphen az subscription and select the object where get type in that array and the length is greater than 1. Basically, a valid subscription name. It is getting the subscription from your account and then adding the value to it. Could you please press enter?
Enter.
Yeah, or space. It will start printing more. Let's get to a let's keep pressing enter until you see yeah, and then now you can scroll up. So
Sure.
scroll up on the logs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So create database. It was creating a database,
correct.
load data. Okay.
Correct.
Oh.
Could you please stop, come down? Think I will little bit. Yeah, there. You see SQL command hyphen s
Mm-hmm.
in the middle. Create database right host creating. The creating the dollar database name database is I think if you remember that was one of the messages print on the log when you run that setup
Yes.
script. And then
Yes.
SQL command is the actual command line to create the database. So hyphen s hyphen synapse workspace.sql Azure Synapse.net was the actual address given. So dollar Synapse Workspace was a variable which is declared in the previous steps. We'll get there. That is fine. And hyphen U stands for username. Dollar SQL user is the SQL user variable, and then SQL password is something which you gave a password, a
We
complex one.
gave the password.
And
Yes.
yeah, so that is part of it. And then database name is by default, and then setup.sql is what it called to execute that SQL command. So basically, this is a command uh, line to create that DB from the backend. If you
Okay.
could go to all resources, search for a SQL database, and you would open the SQL database, give the name and everything, and then press the create button, right?
Hmm.
This command line and that UI creation basically does the same job.
Okay.
So when you imported that DP203, all the files were copied to your local. When you ran that setup script, all these commands were executed in sequence along with the file data, ready from that DP203 lab01 folder, and all
So
the
this,
resources got created under
yeah.
you.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. 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 So the setup file created the database account, the Gen2
Yes,
data storage account, right?
everything, all the
And it created
resources.
the SQL, the Sparka, the Synapse, and it created all the accounts because it's all predetermined into that setup file.
Correct, correct. So ideally, where will it be used? Okay, if that is the
Yeah,
question.
minimum eight
Where,
characters. All this was shown. Like this was where we set up the password, right?
yes, and then there is a pattern recognition step as well. There, yeah, freeze right there
Mhm.
with the
Yeah. Okay. So that means in the real world, they will already have the storage accounts for whatever company is, right?
yes,
They will
you
have
you
their
would have
already set up their Synapse account, everything. So they
correct,
will add me into the
correct.
subscription, right?
Yeah,
They will have their
yeah.
GitHub. They will have the Git platform where all these developers are.
Git
Uh,
Git is just one of the example. There are other vendors. There is Bitbucket and there is ClearCase, and there could be something else as well. So there will
okay.
be a repository for sure. In this case, we are
Yeah.
taking Git as an example.
We're taking the repository from the Git in
Mm,
this case, and
correct.
the
Mm,
repository is that copied that repository gave us that setup file, right?
correct. Yeah.
It gave
So
us that. Yeah.
let me give an example of what I would ask if you join, any company today.
Hmm.
I'm taking a 99% cases of of an existing project. So they would have
Okay.
all the resources. They will
Hmm.
create a company email ID and get you into the Active Directory and everything. So when you
Hmm.
open portal.azure.com with your office email ID, you will see this setup because some you would have raised a request or some admin would have given your email, assigned your email to a certain role where you have a developer access to a portal, right?
Okay.
So when you go to all resources, you would see all of them. Ideally,
Okay.
what the daily, day-to-day work would be, you would have ADF workflow or Synapse job already created in the pipeline.
Hmm.
If I have to give you a development work, probably I will, send you an email with the new file and the new file format and ask you to build a pipeline for this, right?
Hmm.
So either you refer any of the existing jobs and see how it is done, or with the details I have given, just like the way we practice, no, we went to data and then we linked that workspace if it's a storage account, and then we went to develop, we built a query to read that data, and then we went to integrate and then run the query.
Hmm.
Create a dedicated pool and then create an external table, put all the file data there and give read access to those files because that
Okay.
file is new, that external table is new. Grant select to any of the consumer and ask them to read it as a source and then do whatever they wish. So what they would do, they will set up a same thing, same workflow as you did, but instead of file they will read it from your destination for table.
Okay.
So this would be a ideal synapse flow building work. Or if you are part of manage team, when I say manage, it is supporting a day-to-day activity of that environment. Or
Hmm.
for example, it's production. If some file failed to load for some reason, then as a developer, when you get that issue, it's your responsibility to get into that, download the file from the storage account, for example, check if
Mhm.
there are any data cleansing mismatches there, and then look at the synapse workflow, and then see which step it actually failed, and then you try to find that record in here. Either you ask the client to fix that record, send it to us, or you fix it yourself and then re-upload the file and reprocess, make sure it goes through, or you create an exception in your file if it is a process improvement. So your
Okay.
Synapse workspace will be changed. Either you change a query, or you add a step to ignore that record, or you add a step in your cleansing process. For example, if an email address had a space, so space is not
Mhm.
allowed in email address. If that was
Email
the
address,
case,
yes.
yeah, you remove the space, you have re-upload the file or process it, or you write one more step in your email cleansing, where you update that column to replace the space with nothing, so that your data is cleansed. Because
Okay.
anyways space has no meaning in email, so you can
Mhm.
go ahead and take that decision of updating, and then your process will take care of any such issues in the email field going further. So this is the ideal bug fixing example, a task
Okay.
example. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
So you
Yeah, no,
yeah,
things are
you
much more
can
clear because I was having hard time to build up the umbrella. Like, how is this all connected, right? So,
yeah.
well, thank you. That actually cleared a lot of my doubts. And
Okay, and
uh,
let me okay give one more example of how a brand new project is set up, right? So if you take any decent organization with more than 100 200 people, they would have a dedicated
okay,
infrastructure which is solely put to create all these resources and do the cost management wise, because they would have a budgetary constraint to not exceed certain amount for a project. Okay,
okay,
so this infrastructure team, what they does is they create the Azure accounts for you. First thing.
okay,
Second, they will create the resource groups. Okay. Third, they will create the resources under resource groups, and then manage the firewalls. I mean, when I say firewall, it is the communication between each of the resources. Because even though storage account and synapse are there, they need to have a connection enabled. In most of the case, if you create these two resources under the same resource group, by default they can communicate, right? So what if you have a client account, a file based ADLS in one subscription, and you have your development in another subscription in another region?
hmm,
Suppose one is put in Asia, the other in put in one of the US servers. So these two need to have a firewall to communicate. So that whitelisting, when I say whitelisting, it is recognizing an IP as a trusted source to interact or exchange data or communication. So that process also is taken care by the infrastructure,
hmm,
right? So even though you are an architect, you design a project and then do it, you would not have access to create any resources, because there is that constraint put in the standards, the practice standards. You will have to
okay,
request an infrastructure team to have the resource created, because they are the ones who are paying. That is the creation and payment team, basically.
hmm,
So in the real time projects, it is a good to know thing, but it's mostly high likely that you will be asked to create a resource.
okay,
But whatever you create within the project, it's up to you, and you are the owner of that process.
okay.
Okay,
So
so that is,
shall we close
yeah,
this one? No?
yeah,
Okay.
close it. That's fine.
So
So
that means
now,
if I understood, if I understood you correctly, we're going into data lake, and
correct.
this is where we should be uploading that file, right?
Yeah. So treat it as a storage. And
This is the
once the
storage
file,
technology.
open files, it should be already there.
Um,
There was a files folder. Yeah, you can cancel this. Open files. Yeah,
yeah, sales
samples,
data,
sales. Yeah, sales data, sign up. Sales,
sales.js.
sales. Okay. So
Okay.
is this exercise part of the link I shared, or is it the Word document I sent via email?
It's the Word document that says how to query. So the query
Mm,
part is what I need to work on, what we need to.
okay. Sure. Then let's do one thing. Let's open the Synapse workspace, the last item. So you have this created. Okay, this is part of the DP import. Okay,
No, why is it not? Okay, here it is, right?
open it and then scroll down. Launch workspace. Little up. Scroll
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Yeah. Open Synapse Studio. I think you'll need to share the other screen as well.
Yes.
Okay. So here, expand the left menu button. So until you get used to the icons. So home data develop integrate monitor. Think theory is done. Click on data. So workspace is where you see all your databases connected. So this is already connected. I will give you one more exercise where you will create and connect the database yourself. Okay. So right now it is
Linking,
already
right?
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that
Okay.
link will show you a list of storage accounts. Workspace will show you a list of databases, two different objects.
Okay.
Yeah. So this Azure account is where you'll see the files. Expand, expand the storage account. Synapse, the first one. Files, click on files. Now navigate to sales data.
There is Sunil. There is something also called to create the link to services, right? Is that in the
Correct.
ADF mostly used, or it's used in the
It
here?
Synapse also. It is in both. Both are ETL tools. Synapse
Okay.
Analytics to take a big data to an analytical database for
Okay.
analytical processing.
So
So
those
that
link to
is where
services, how to create the link services between two other, like this is, I know this is
correct.
this Azure data,
That
but something
that is
else.
probably yeah probably second or third session from today. I would give that exercise as well once the
Okay.
theory is over. Yeah,
Okay. So
and
we have sales
ideally,
data.
yeah, double click on sales.
Mm-hmm.
Open the database. Okay, so here. So you see a new SQL script notebook and data flow. Uh, so that is to create a new script when you don't know about the source. So for now, you can right click on sales.
Sorry, I had to quickly go and shut the door. Okay.
Mhm.
So we can right click on sales.
Right click on sales. There is new SQL. Okay, you can preview the data. So that will show you quick, a top 10, top 100 info of what the data looks like. So this is your top 10 rows in your data file, right? A
Mm-hmm.
quick review. You can say okay, close it, and then right click again. So here you can use, for example, new SQL script or notebook. Notebook will open a Python for you. Within Python, you will be running a SQL script itself.
Okay.
So it's not a different command. So for now, we can go for new SQL script. Select top 100. Okay, so this is your file now. Select top 100 from open row set, bulk the file location, format is CSV, parser version is 2.0, and you are loading it as a result table name. That's an alias. So this is your SQL query. Press the run button. It will run and show you the data. Run button under files where your query is there. Yeah. Pull that window, messages window a little bit up. Yep. So little more. Okay, you can collapse the data workspace linked part. You see two less than symbols on the left side, second window under publish all. Yeah, beside files on the left side, left side. Yeah, collapse. Yep, you have more. Okay, so here C1, C2, C3 are the result sets or the column names given by default by the platform. The first row, sales order ID, is actually your column. Now, how do you tell the query that my data has a header?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you recall?
No.
Okay, go back to the query. So there is a parameter called header underscore row. So that's a boolean value, just like the format CSV is there, right? Format is equal to CSV. Same way, we have to give header row is equal to true.
Oh, okay. So we go back to.
Yeah. At the end of parser version 2.0, put a comma and enter. We add one more parameter. Enter header underscore row is equal to true. Yeah, hit auto suggest. Say enter is equal to
Header.
true. Yeah, it's a boolean field. So now if you
Okay.
run, the C1, C2 will be gone and the first row is considered as your header.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. Now there is a connect to that is showing built in, right? Where you ran in the where you press the run command in the
Yeah.
same line there is a connect to and then use database. Yeah, click on that drop down. See if there is a dedicated that SQL G3MHOCA, that is your dedicated SQL pool. That is actually paused. That is why it is showing a gray icon, but built-in
Mm-hmm.
is green. So these are the two different databases where you could run the query. Second, the
Okay.
use database. By default in SQL Server, anything you work on, unless it's a other database, it is always the SQL Server database.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, unless you open a Cosmos DB or some other MongoDB, some other DB in specific, by default the all the services will run on SQL Server because it's a in-house application for Azure platform. So here also we are running on SQL Server latest version. So
Okay.
all the SQL servers have multiple databases within itself. By default, it is under master. When it is under master, the schema is called DBO. Okay.
DBO.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And okay. So here, could
Sunil,
you? Mhm.
um, sorry, I was starting in Hindi.
Yeah.
But can we talk in Hindi or are you comfortable in
No.
Hindi?
No problem. Yes. बात कर सकता हूँ. That's okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
But like, okay, so Sunil, what I was asking is, हमने जब डेटा प्रीव्यू किया था, when we previewed the data, data हमको इसी
Uh-huh.
फॉर्मेट में दिखा था, right?
Yes.
So now we are doing, but now we are query, we have done the query to the data. तो
Correct.
इसका task का like,
Now the next task, can you print a item wise count? Basically, I want to see an item name and then number of items sold in that items. So if I have to say, the output should be item and the sum of quantity. So in the top 100, remove the top 100, put item, comma, star भी नहीं चाहिए, item,
okay,
comma, count, count, open open a open a regular brace, which is
uh,
9 and 0, shift 9.
oh,
Yeah, press 1, count of 1. This will count everything. So now count any aggregate query would be requiring a group by clause because we want to club all the items together and then count how many items are sold, right? So that
mhm,
group by should be put at line 11.
okay.
Line
Can I,
11, come down,
should I,
go to
okay,
line number 11. Yeah. Take the
Line number
control.
11.
Yeah, a group space
Space
space by
by.
by yeah space item.
Okay.
Okay, so can you okay run the query?
Okay. Can I go back to this? So we before this
Mhm.
was select top 100, right?
Correct.
So
Mhm.
which meant उसका मतलब क्या था? Selecting top 100 meaning जो हमारा
Select
data था उसमें.
yeah, select star says that select all the columns.
Okay.
That is the general convention. Select star from a table.
Okay.
It's not recommended to use star in any of your scripts. Ideally, stars can change at any time. For example, today in this table, I have 10 columns. If I
Mm-hmm.
add one more column and if your query is using a star, after which all the columns are hard coded, so the newly added column is not considered, under that second step, and the queries will
Seconds.
fail. Yeah, that
Okay.
is the thumb rule number one. Never use select star in your daily job. I mean, it is
Okay.
good for investigation only, not for your script. Second is what is top 100? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so top 100 is a record count restriction you putting on the server to how many number of records you need to get from the actual data and print it. Okay,
Okay.
the third ideal case, what happens if I run a select star on a large table? For example, if the table has 20 million records, if
Yeah.
I say select star, then it will try to pull all the 20 million of all the columns which
Records
could
and
be
try
1
to
GB,
run
2
the
GB,
query
or
on
3
those.
GB. Yeah, it will try to put it in your buffer, with the query either will run forever, or it will fill up
Fail.
the
Timeout.
run space, or it will say buffer overflow or request timeout or something will happen and it will fail.
Mhm.
So that is the reason for top 100. And
Okay.
when does it run fast and when does not run fast, the top 100? In this particular example, we only have given a from class, and even if you give a where class and all, it's fine. Top 100 will run faster. But if you put a order by, when you are querying an item table, if there is a order creation date, and if you say like I want the top 100 records, which are ordered in most recent to the oldest, in
Mm-hmm.
that case all the 10 million records need to be ordered first before it chops off the top 100.
Mm-hmm.
So in such cases, order by is in most of the cases it's a culprit for performance issues. So even though you used a top 100 for improving, the order by is acting as a counterbalance and adding more headache for performance.
Okay. And then we changed it to item count one, which can you repeat?
So
Like we changed.
yeah, here, okay, let's do one thing. Can you put the same comment back? I mean, comment this line. Beginning of the item, enter two hyphens or minus. Okay, Control Z. Okay, keep the item. Control Z. Go back. Yeah, keep the item. Yeah. Now you put the my two minuses. I think you replaced item count. I want you to put just comment that line. Double hyphen. This will comment. Okay, before the double hyphen, enter top 100 star, top space 100 star, and select from line 2 till end of line 10. Select,
The
do
after
a,
start, do we need to space it or no?
it doesn't matter actually. Even after 100 also the space does not matter till the end of line 10. Yeah. Now you press the run button. Okay, pull up the result, copy one of the item names, uh, scroll to the right, copy one of the items. Yeah, just click on that mountain 100. Yeah, copy, paste it in your query window. Let's do a minimize maximize thing. Yeah, you see a right icon, right? The up arrow on the results and messages. Yeah, just do this and then collapse it. It's fine. Okay, here after the result, after at the end of line 10, place the cursor, click there and then press enter.
Do we need to keep the group by or delete it?
Just comment it and comment it and put it in the next line. We'll use it in the next query. Okay, so there are single line comments and multi-line comments. Are you aware of multi-line comment?
No,
Are you aware? Okay, cool.
no.
Put a backward slash. Okay, and the star. This is the beginning of multi-line. Come to the end of group by line 12 and then press enter. Basically, create a line 13. Enter star backward slash. This is the end of multi-line comment. Anything you write in between will not be sent to the SQL executing engine.
Hmm.
Now, at the end of line 10, press enter. Add where 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 space item is equal to any string should be given in a single quote space that mountain 100 control V, yeah, backspace, close the quote. Okay, now run the script. There is an error, but I'll tell you where the error is. Run it.
From top to bottom, all 14 rows?
No, that is fine. It doesn't matter. Okay, okay, it is running. Can you pull up the window? Okay, so you copied the mountain 100, right? So it did not result anything. Can you
Yes.
check the query and tell me why?
Sorry, let me do this again. Okay, practice this.
Yeah, yeah. So what happened here? So we spoke about a space problem for email, right? So when you
Hmm.
pasted item, you put a space at the beginning and then you pasted the mountain 100. So since we are using a equal operator, it is actually looking for that initial space, but it is not
Okay.
there in the data. Okay, so now you do a execution and check the result set. Just press that pull up window. Now, so you see data only for the mountain 100 bike. Now I
Hmm.
want to see how many such records are there. I can obviously copy this data to somewhere else and then I can count it, right?
Yeah, but that's, yeah,
Yeah,
that's not the
yeah. Could you
intention.
please scroll right and tell me, copy the name of price column? And there will be, yeah, unit price, right? Unit price. Okay, I got it. You can minimize this. Okay. Now you remove the top 100. Let's do a count first. Let's concentrate only on this item particularly. Remove it. Remove the top 100 and then the comment. Yeah. And then remove the multi-line comment. Keep group by in the query. Remove line 12 and line 14. Okay. If it is a comment, it will always be in green. Otherwise, SQL keywords are in blue or any functions are will be in kind of brown or the coffee, whatever you call. The
Yeah.
open rosette and count are the different colors for functions. Group by space item. Run this query. So we saw more than one records for sure when we ran on when we listed the mountain 100 silver 44, right? Now pull
Yeah.
up the results. Yeah, pull up the results, please. Now there are 49 records. Now
Hmm.
the no column name. For first one we have item heading, column heading, but the second one we don't have a column name. So could you give an alias to it? How will you give an alias? How will you name that column?
Mm,
Scroll, minimize the result. After the count, you just put a space and any name you want in a single quote. Space, yeah, any name you want in a single quote. Yeah. Run the query now. You will see the alias name printed.
Yep.
Okay, that is the aliasing part.
So
Second,
what difference
we
this
saw.
item count made? So now we deleted the top 100, right? So then the item count one meaning.
Mhm.
So
Number of items present, the number of items per item, the total count of items. So
okay,
there are 49 records for Mountain 100 Silver 44 record.
okay,
So now we will see how much was the sale price, how much was the unit price for all of them. So after total, put a comma and add sum of unit price. Open brace, unit price. Okay, run this. Since one column can have multiple aggregators, in such case
mhm,
we would require only one item. But for the same question, if the question is something like what are the items shopped by a customer, if you could list a total number of items and their respective total sum of unit prices. In such case, I would be doing the customer ID, comma item, comma count of one, and then sum of unit price. In that case, the group by will be changed from group by item to group by item, comma customer ID. So any column name present in select along with an aggregate query need to be included in the group by clause.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now you comment the where clause. Just double hyphen in line 11
Hmm.
at the beginning of the line. Put a double dash, a single line comment. Yeah. So now you run it. We will get the total item summary for all the products. Okay. Now,
So it skipped this the mountain silver. So it's not looking for this specific. Now it's giving us
yes,
the whole.
everything.
It's running the whole query. It's running the whole query. We asked him to item count one total. We asked him to
Yes,
sum all the unit prices. So it's doing all that,
correct,
but not on
correct.
just one kind, but every single thing, every single type
Everything.
of the
Yeah,
bike.
correct. Now, okay, you see different total values, right? I
Hmm.
see uh, above 500 and below 500. Now, the next question is, can you list only the products which are sold uh, more than 500 in the count? I mean, which are sold more than 500 in quantity. I'm not interested in anything below 500. I want to see the top performing, items. How do you do that? Basically, I'm asking you to put a count condition, no? The count of items greater than 12. So what we do, okay, after the group by item, press and enter and take line 13. Type having count of one greater than 500.
So having
Having, yeah, count of one greater than 500.
count
Uh,
of
Count of one, same as what you have given in the select. Yeah, space greater than 500. The greater than symbol 500. Yeah, run this. So this would give us the total number of items sold in more than 500 in quantity. If you look at the second, you won't see anything below 500.
yeah.
Okay, now along with this, I will add one more condition. On the sum part, I want to see all the lists along with more than 500 quantity. I want to see which generated more than 10,000 in revenue. So you put an and, not comma, space and sum of unit price greater than 10,000. Okay, greater than 10,000. Run this query. Let's fix the issues on the fly. Okay, it errored out. What is it saying? No, keep the errors. I mean, read through the error. Non-Boolean type was specified in the context where a condition is expected, a open brace symbol. Where is it throwing at? Basically, uh, sum is a function, but you are passing it as a string. If you look at your line 3, look at the way you have given sum. It's a keyword. It does not require a single quote. Single quote is always a string notation. So all the functions or reserved words are without single quote. That is why format, parser version, bulk, select, from, group by, having, as, these are like, comes without the single quote. Now run the query. Okay, there is another error. What does it say? Incorrect syntax near close brace. Here, some open brace is right, but the close brace is not recognized. That is why it is saying incorrect near close brace. So what
Okay.
happened here? Between the open brace and close brace, it was not able to recognize the column name. Is there an extra space between? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why close was not recognized. If you run this, I think this will run. Yeah. So now these are the items which are sold in more than 500 in quantity and generated more than 10,000 in revenue. Correct? So give a name on the right side. There is SQL script 1. Give some name. Yeah, something like sales query 1 or something. Yeah, anything is fine. Hmm. And then once you give a name, you need to publish it in order for that name to query to be saved. So beside your run, second button from your run icon, there is a publish button.
Okay. So सुनील, अगर मैं इसको
Mhm,
रिपीट करूं,
mhm,
हमने क्वेरी करना शुरू किया डेटा को, we started query the data, and then
mhm,
up to line number 10
mhm.
we got the results. हमको जिस
Correct.
फॉर्मेट में रिजल्ट देखने थे, the way
I
we
mean,
wanted
yeah.
to the way we wanted to see the results out of the data that we had in the
Mhm.
table in the CSV file.
Correct.
हमने उसको we gave it a special case that count one उसमें total रखना है, sum unit price का sum करना. We could have summed something else too, but we selected the unit price का, हमको sum
Mhm.
चाहिए. We could have also
Uh,
selected that we
Tax is also there. So functionally, I would see only the payment paid under this sum. I will not do a count of unit price and sum of quantity unless it's required, right? I don't. It's one and the same. But the summation on other fields, if it makes sense, yes, it's good.
like
Otherwise,
for
it's
example if they
function.
wanted to see for example if um, mountain bike का जो table है, just I'm just taking an example. This is the
Go
parameters
to
that we gave
yeah,
according to
go
our
to
need.
files. Yeah, go to files. On the left side, there is a file tab. Yeah, above the run button. Yeah, above the run
Okay.
button. Click, right click and then preview data. Yeah, here. Let's build a scenario. What do you want to see? Look at the data
नहीं,
and tell me.
anything like वो जो I'm just trying to understand that the unit the sales unit
Mhm.
price sum is the parameter that we gave it to it. Like our
Correct.
requirement was to sum the unit price.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Our boss
Mhm.
said, hey, I want the sum of the unit price. So we gave that parameter to the query
Mhm.
and we
Correct.
generated the result. And we generated
Okay.
the result based on the demand. Like, this was the
Mhm.
demand that was given to us, right?
Correct.
And then
Correct.
based on that result,
Revenue cells next to the file
yeah,
icon. Yeah, click on
revenue
that.
source. Up to the tenth, we basically satisfied the
Mhm.
demand. Like what was the
Correct.
requirement? up to row number 10, right? Up
Okay.
to row number for the uh, initially we did it for only
Yeah.
one item, but then
Initially,
we
one item.
we
Mm,
canceled it, right? And
correct.
then after that, once we're telling the SQL Server that once the engine that once you have this result up to row number 10, then group by item.
Correct.
So group by item is where, okay, item. So group by item, every item is now grouped differently with the total and the sum unit price. And
Correct.
then we said, okay, then the next requirement was having a count of anything which is like you said, anything more than a 500. This is just a general case that
Condition.
the case could be anything, right?
Yes.
Basically,
Yeah.
we modified the data the
So
way we want to see it,
yeah.
and
So
then
my
we
idea,
ran.
yeah, my
Yeah.
idea was to give you an idea of how a file is inputted into the from class. So you have the bulk format parser and header row. You are good there. You know how to read a
Okay.
file now. You know how to select everything, select star, top 100. And
Mhm.
then you know how to select a particular item along with aggregation function, which are count and sum. So whenever a aggregator is used, then you know a group by is mandatory.
Mhm.
So if you run the first 10 lines, it will give you an error. You can run and see. And if you want to put a condition on the aggregated function, you had the having clause. In real world, if you are comfortable with these five from group by having an aggregation function, that's all. I mean, that's all the basics you need to know for SQL. What
Mhm.
comes after it is the writing multiple queries, or instead of your from clause you put another query, in your where you put another query, you join 2 3 tables using the join condition, and again when you use multiple queries, that query will also consist of the same structure.
Mhm.
So my suggestion is you get better with the structure, and then if you see multiple cases, right? So you just
Okay.
Google for some problems, SQL problems, and see how a different use case is built and how the query is built to handle a certain case. So you would see the same structure but a different item and different conditions, different columns and conditions, basically. That
Okay.
is one thing. And what else? What else? What else? Okay, please go ahead. Ask me. I mean, I'm sorry
No,
to
I'm
cut
good.
you off.
I'm good.
Yeah.
No, 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 I'm good. So yeah,
Okay.
that's all. I wanted to repeat myself that the understanding that I'm having is correct.
Correct.
Okay.
That is perfect. No worries. And what else? Okay. Now, where is this query stored? Revenue sales query. Where will you see this query? See
Um,
on the left hand side. Okay. I'll give you four options. Data, develop, integrate, monitor. Where will you see the query?
develop.
Perfect. Click on develop. Yeah. This is where your query is. So any other query you build, either you can come here and okay. Now, could you copy the open row set thing from line 5 to line 10? Yeah, copy it. And in develop, in the second screen, you see a plus icon where you collapse the develop window. Yeah, it takes SQL script. It will open. Close this. What do you call the other? Yeah. Okay. Now paste it here on the right side. Click and then paste.
Okay.
Did it, no. Okay. If it did not copy, then go back to the revenue query. Right click and copy. If Control C didn't work, right click on the selected.
It's not giving me the copy command.
Is it?
That's why I tried Control C.
Okay. Cool. No problem.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Control
It's
C,
given me.
Control V.
So now use the same open row set. I mean, this is the majority of the typing part. Can you select the top 100 now? Enrich this query from this point, and can you select the top 100? Just add a top 100 at the beginning.
Open row. So in the next line.
No, in the previous line, it has to be a from clause, no? At the beginning of this script, yeah, do a select top 100 space top 100 star, run it. No, okay, you can go. What is it?
Open row and syntax. The keyboard is open row set.
Okay, so can you open a notepad or something in your local? Are you okay? Are you sharing the full screen or just this screen?
Just the
Okay, cool. Go to line number 8, put a multi-line comment.
it
Multi
was it was
backslash star.
backslash star.
Okay. So enter. I want you to remember this. Okay. Do,
Okay.
type select enter from
Select
next line from next line where next line double hyphen a comment and then group by yeah enter double hyphen having okay and then close the comment star slash. So this is the basic structure where select and from are mandatory, where clause is optional, and group by and having is present only if there is a aggregation function like sum or count if it is there in the select clause. Okay,
mhm.
this is a mandatory. Now based on this structure, what is the problem in the query? Do you have the
Select
required keywords?
from where
I mean, it says incorrect syntax near open row set. So which keyword is missing in your query?
I mean the file.
No, from. Where is from? It needs to be put before you put the file, no? File name. Select and from are mandatory for a query. So you select star from. So your top 100 star is over. After that, the next keyword is from. That is where the error says there is a error near open row set. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. Yep. Now you run the query. Okay, you see the result set. Expand the result set. Okay, so you have the result set. So now, if I ask you to list me all the customer email addresses along with their quantity of purchase with the total sum of tax amount paid, what your query will be? I need the email address with the total number of total quantity of items purchased along with the sum of your tax they paid. No, just give me a query. It's fine. Just go ahead and tell me a query. I mean, don't have to type. Just tell me how will it be.
So we need to group by email.
Yes,
Um,
to count the
name,
items and the sum of tax paid.
count
Now,
the items
uh,
by
let's open the data. Let's talk in front of data. Yeah, right click preview. Okay, here. So I am interested in customer email addresses
mhm,
or customer name. Let's say customer name. That makes more sense. I want a
okay,
list of customers along with their total items purchased with total tax they paid.
total tax amount.
Yeah, total tax they
So,
paid, number of items they purchased by customer name.
so customer name, every customer name is going to be different, right?
No, no. Let's see if it is different, because if it is different, it's different. That's all. No worries. Because if a customer has made two purchases of two different items, in that case, I'm not actually looking for an item, right? See, if I am a customer and I bought Road 150 and then Mountain 100, there are two items. So in that case,
Right.
I want my name, and then number of items total will be two for me, and then the total tax paid, the tax amount at the last column, that will be a sum of these two records. So if I have purchased only one, it's fine. It is just one for me. But I'm
Okay.
interested in a customer summary. I want to check the total number of items and the total tax I paid.
Total tax I paid.
Yeah. If you're comfortable, you can write it in the new query, or we can go back to our old query and then update it.
I'll try my best. Okay, so this query, we're
Okay.
gonna have to the open rows set.
Hmm.
We would need to first
Now let's
generate
do
the,
one thing.
we were first read to generate the result. In the result, I wanted to see customer name and
Yeah,
the total of purchases, the unit total purchases they made and total tax they paid.
correct.
So for that, I need to first over here in the next line,
The
or
select, you need to replace the top
yeah,
100 with the actual.
need
What do
to
you want to see?
select, right? So I need to
Yeah.
select the
What do you want to see?
cust select the item.
No, I am not looking for by item summary. No, I want the summary by customer. So your select will be customer name because that is
Yeah.
the by customer ask. Uh,
No.
Correct, but we don't need the string. String is a hard coded value. Single quote says it's a string. You need to
Okay.
put without the single quote. Direct column name, customer name. Yeah, this is what we want, comma, and I
Select the
want to see
customer name.
I want to see the total quantity purchased. That will be uh,
Okay.
total is always count. Whenever you hear total, it's always count function. Count gives you the total. Yeah, open brace. I think it was quantity. Hmm,
QUANTITY.
quantity. And then I want uh, total. Sorry, I want the sum of what you call the tax amount.
Tax.
Yeah, here it's the summation
Yeah.
tax amount X amount. Yeah. Okay, now so where will you put your group by? Go back to my query. Sorry, I gave you the list of things. No, the comment. Select from. So where will your group by come?
After.
Where yeah, where is not mandatory. So it is definitely after from clause. Here we don't have a where filter, so we can put it after from.
After from.
Enter. After the end of from, where does your from clause end? After the alias name, right? Alias result. That is
Yeah.
where
Yes.
the end of from is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your keyword, content, and the next keyword. Group by. So you group and buyer with a space.
Group by. So we're saying the group by the
Mm,
customer name, right?
correct.
Okay.
It is the same name as your select. Can you run this query? Pull up the result set, please. Mm, see Aaron Adams, 4 transactions worth $9. So this is your list of customers with the number of items they purchased. and total tax they paid. And if you could click on chart, pull up the result,
If
or
we were
go
to
back to. Mhm, yeah,
go back to data, yes.
the revenue sales. Let's go back to revenue sales. I want to show you the charts, the previous window. Yeah. So pull up the results. So one advantage of charts, yes. Could you collapse the develop window so that way chart is better visible? Develop on the right. No. Pull that result up. On the left side, we have the second window. No. Develop, where you see the SQL scripts, revenue. Collapse everything on the left. Beside your files icon, there is a collapse button. Two less than symbols. Yeah. Yes. And collapse the main menu also. Home, data, develop, integrate on the left. We can. Yeah. So here in the chart, change the chart type to pie. In the below the right side, there is a chart type. Change it to pie chart, and then change the legend series to something else. We have item. Okay, keep item there, and category column. Click on the category. Change total. Okay. So this is the basic pie chart, and if you hover over your pie chart, it will show you which item it is. Since we are printing the total, change the category column to something like item. Yeah. So this is the item wise share. So this is one of the advantages of Synapse. You see a result, you can immediately convert into a visual representation without even actually taking that data to Power BI or some other visualization tool. First thing.
Hmm.
So you could, yeah, could you do the same thing in your customer name query? Show me something. Yeah, show me the chart. Change to a suitable chart type. Category is customer name. Category is by what you see. Second is okay, since you have not given a alias name, it's
Yeah.
giving us column 1 and column 2, but now we know first column is the count and second column is the tax. So
Yeah.
category column, so since we were looking by customer name, I would select customer name. And then if you want to see the share of tax amount, select the column 2 in legend series. That is the total. Yeah. And then change the chart type. So wait, I think it's loading. Click on the chart. Nope, it's not loading for some reason. Okay, it looks like a glitch. Change the chart type and check if it is having any issues with the pie. Check the scatter plot. Yeah. Change the legend series to something else. Change the legend to no. These are the labels. Scroll up. Scroll up. I think we have to load it from the top. Legends, keep only customer name in legend series. Legend is basically what is printed. Choose a category column. I think it's a top-down hierarchy. When you choose a customer to second, no, select the column name. Let's see the price as category and customers as legend. This is the reverse of it. This
So
is, yeah. Select the column 1 in category column, and then legend. Select the customer name. It's not giving. Okay, the compatibility issue. Cool. Okay, no problem. My idea was to, give you some hands-on on the chat side. We can explore. That is fine.